All right. Can everyone hear? Right? Okay. We have connectivity here. Good morning. I'm Steve Barry, the President and CEO of CCA. I'd like to thank everyone for coming this morning, joining us for the 2013 Competitive Carriers Convention. Thank you. I hope you had a chance to enjoy last night and got an opportunity to see some of our outstanding pre-conference sessions yesterday. And last night we opened the exhibit hall, and hopefully you got to see some friends and acquaintances and many of our exhibitors there at the hall tonight, last night, and we'll be there tonight too. So I also like to thank TNS for our after-hours party. TNS hosted the party, and I hope everyone had a good time. I know I did. I hope you had some opportunity to grab some breakfast and get some coffee. And those that are in the back, just please come on forward and sit down whenever you get something to eat. I'd like to thank Red Knee for the breakfast this morning. Red Knee is a sponsor for the wonderful breakfast. And I'd also like to thank our pinnacle sponsors, Alcatel-Lucent, Ericsson, Interop Technologies, Cineverse, and TNS. Their support and commitment to CCA events has been absolutely phenomenal this year, and we certainly couldn't do it without them. So that's here for our pinnacle sponsors. Thank you so very much. I would also like to thank those who will be joining us by a live streaming this morning, and it's being broadcast by RCR Wireless. So to all of you out there on the web, welcome to CCA. Now, to get started this morning, I want to introduce to you our 2012-2013 Chairman of the Board, our President and CEO of Atlantic Telenetwork, Mr. Michael Pryor. Michael.
Good morning, everyone. For those of you who were at the annual meeting yesterday, I gave a rather lengthy talk about all the things the CCA has accomplished in the last year. Ron Whaley wanted me to do it again today, but I've promised not to do so. But I am very, very proud of the progress CCA has made in the past year. It's continued to grow in strength on competitive policy issues, and we've advanced in some very crucial areas of advocacy, including very recently. CCA is involved more than ever before in all the competitive policy issues, wireless issues that come up in DC. And there's a good reason for that. It's the membership, it's the participation of all of you, and it's Steve Barry and his team and the action and activity they've shown on the Hill with really a relentless approach and a tenacious bearing. I'm also delighted that Acting Chairwoman Clyburn has joined us this morning. Her leadership and her deft political touch, I think, were absolutely critical in one of the bigger wins CCA has had recently, which was the interoperability solution that was brought about last week. And she has been longtime voice on a lot of critical issues for CCA members, and I think this is the second time she's actually appeared at one of our shows, and we're very grateful for that. With the upcoming incentive auctions on the horizon, the interoperability issue recently solved but still in need of being monitored, and a number of other issues still yet to be decided at the FCC, we must continue to work together to ensure that all carriers can compete and thrive in the industry. I look forward to our continued work together, and thank you again for the opportunity to serve as your chairman this past year. And I would like to take a moment to thank in particular the board of directors for their support and contributions during my chairmanship. Every member should know that you have a very dedicated board and officers and management team at CCA who are committed to a healthy industry. It's been a pleasure serving with you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Michael, and thank you again for your great leadership. It's been a great year for all of us, and I've certainly, personally, on a personal note, really appreciated the opportunity to work with you. Really, really an enjoyable, pleasant experience for all of us, and I think we're all better for it. So I know one of your primary concerns has been to make sure that competitive carriers have access to spectrum and have the opportunity to bid on spectrum. And I'm very pleased at what we've accomplished this year. And so let me give you just a short update before we get on to the main session. I'm especially pleased about the last week's announcement that will restore interoperability of the 700 megahertz band. And restoring interoperability will allow CCA carriers to build out over $2 billion of spectrum to bring those much-needed services to rural, regional America, give consumers choice. It's a great win for all of us. It was hard-fought, a critical policy battle for everyone, and CCA was at the table with you, for you, on your behalf, with several of our members, and I would be remiss if I didn't at least identify U.S. Cellular, C Spire, Dish, Continuum, and Vulcan, all members that sat there, put their heart and soul behind finding a solution and worked for you and with us, and especially the FCC. And I would also like to thank our distinguished guest, which we will hear from in a moment, the interim chairwoman of the FCC, Mignon Clyburn, and her able staff. Phenomenal effort from everyone. I told somebody the other day that she is actually the David Copperfield of Washington, D.C., because she really created some magic there and made it happen for all of us. And interoperability is an immediate need today, but we also recognize how critical issue it is for our competitive carriers as we move forward. That's why we continue to push for interoperability in all future blocks of bands of spectrum made available for mobile broadband use, including the upcoming 600 megahertz auction. The 600 megahertz auction will be the focus of the Spectrum Incentive Auction authorized by the Middle Class Tax Relief and Job Creation Act of 2012. We call it the Spectrum Act. The board, at board direction and with board support, CCA was instrumental in language in the spectrum legislation secured our opportunity to allow you have the chance to bid and hopefully a chance to win spectrum in the next auction. Making sure the FCC maintains that authority over spectrum auctions is absolutely critical to every one of the competitive carriers. And we continue to monitor these developments in this area, and we will ensure that all carriers, no matter what size or geographic location, will have a meaningful opportunity to access usable spectrum. And this is absolutely necessary for everyone. And let me be real clear here. CCA supports all carriers, including AT&T and Verizon, having the opportunity to bid and win at the auction. We just want an open ecosystem, and we want to make sure that no one or two carriers walk away with the entire pie. In addition to spectrum, carriers need access to interoperable devices. And clearly, devices are a primary consideration for consumers when they're selecting their wireless provider. And CCA has continued to pursue policies to provide consumers and carriers with access to these devices. As current analysis reported just yesterday, and when they released their survey, found that devices are a primary consideration for consumers in all areas. In fact, even in the most rural, low-income areas of the United States, consumers prefer and will buy the latest and greatest devices. That's good for all of our carriers that want to provide these greatest services to every consumer in America. Consumers are like any other. They want the latest device, but they want them to work where they live, where they travel, where they play. Our advocacy fight for meaningful data roaming remains, and it remains a critical issue. So we strongly supported the FCC and the FCC's data roaming order, and we continue to press for fair roaming agreements. We have accomplished a lot this year, but there is no doubt that we have a lot more to tackle, and we've got a tough road ahead. The stakes are high on almost every policy initiative. The opposition can be overwhelming, and in many instances we may oppose AT&T or Verizon or both, or sometimes other stakeholders in the arena. But and they are generally well-financed. And that's why it's so important that our members continue to work together collectively on our advocacy efforts. While we continue to move forward in the advocacy arena, it's just as important that CCA members pursue business solutions. We cannot always solely depend on leadership at the FCC or on Congress to handle and address every one of our issues. So we also need to help ourselves. And one of the initiatives we have undertaken is the industry development programs. And I think they're important for competitive carriers because we bring together the best minds and best thoughts of many of the small carriers and try to find solutions. And I think it's an advantage for everyone. I think it sets us apart from some of the other associations. And we're out to find the best solutions and share that knowledge through our networking and through our good friends and associates and associate members. So we created a data access hub through the industry development program, and we have other programs that are designed to bring the smaller carriers up to speed in short cycles for issues like churn prediction and spam reporting, Wi-Fi offload, carrier-branded app store. So if you want to know more about these, stop by the CCA booth, see Brad, and talk to any of our staff. We'll be more than happy to address those. For example, right now, the issues in D.C. are most important. The policymakers down in the FCC are writing the rules that will govern the upcoming incentive auctions. And you need to be at the table. CCA needs to be there for you, and so our voice can be heard. In your first opportunity to get involved in this close and upfront and personal is October 2nd. We're going to have our Capitol Hill Day. Your voice as a constituent speaks louder than anything. Your congressman wants to hear directly from you. They want to know what this does to your business, to their constituents. Your contributions to the economy and the jobs that you provide are critical to that member, and they want to hear how these policies affect you. So that your voice will be heard, and hopefully you'll have a better appreciation for the key policymakers' issues and the priorities that they have to face. We look forward to taking on all these challenges, and the first opportunity is October 2nd, so please come and join us. Everyone is invited, the carriers, associate members, come to D.C. and join us. Now, for the main event and why we're here today, our first speaker is the top Washington policymaker in the telecommunications world in Washington, D.C. She's a leader who is, and I'd say maybe the world, since we are a leader. She's a leader who is not afraid to make tough decisions. Mignon Clyburn, the acting chairwoman of the FCC. In 2010, as CCA met in her home state in South Carolina, then Commissioner Clyburn stressed the need for competition in a competitive market. Today, we welcome not only her as the chairwoman of the FCC, but also as a champion for competition. With her recent work on interoperability, she made good on her commitment to consumers by providing them a competitive choice in the marketplace. We thank her for her steadfast leadership to restore interoperability in the lower 700 megahertz band, and it would not have happened without Chairwoman Clyburn. She truly understands the importance of ensuring a small wireless carrier can continue to compete and provide quality service to Americans. And so I would like to thank Madam Chairwoman for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here today. And someone said that gratitude is a motion of the heart, and I can say that from the heart, everyone here is grateful for your activities and could not be more proud of the solution you arrived at for us all. And so thank you. Chairwoman Clyburn, let's give it up.